friends for Bulldoze and All Out War. Give it up for motherfucking Bulldoze and All Out War. Alright, we're gonna have a nice intimate evening. Everybody take 2 steps forward. Come on, let's have a good time. We're next up from Baltimore, motherfucking Maryland. This one goes out to your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Baltimore, we love you. We are next step up. But right here in this motherfucking town, this town has got a reputation, you might know it, but we're happy to be representing Baltimore motherfucking hardcore. This one goes out to anybody that's still a vegetarian. Hey, Hare Krishna. This one is called Bloodstained Eyes! Surround my neighborhood, we all. Victory from that call. Ottobar! Baltimore hardcore in the house! Yeah! Fuck it! Yo, somebody just handed me. Somebody lose an AA coin. Yo, hey. Cheers, my brother. Good for you. Yo, celebrate sobriety. It's a cool thing. Some ARP shit. Yo, thank you guys so much for coming out. We're so happy to be playing tonight with our brothers from Bulldoze and All Out War. Give it up for those guys. Yo, this next song, and frankly, our whole motherfucking set tonight goes out to our dear departed brother and former bandmate, Scotty P. He's also himself. Nothing but love to my brother. And our old guitar player, Bruce. Rest in peace also. This one goes out to anyone who celebrates Krishna consciousness. You can't go to Hannibal! This was called Machine Gun! What are you trying to do? Oh, that's a whole damn matter with truth. Another victory. my young friend, Cameron. Came all the way from Massachusetts to experience that stuff motherfucker for hardcore. Be sure you show him some love. Oh, yeah. Appreciate all the love. Yeah, it's warm up in this piece. Yo, what do you guys think about all this upcoming crop of great Baltimore hardcore bands? What do you guys know about Jive Bomb? Yeah, how about Turnstile? Hell the fuck yeah. Motherfucking ended. And of course, all the great bands that open tonight. There's so many other great bands that are happening right now in Baltimore. Bands like Sinister Feeling, Erode. There are tons and tons of amazing bands coming up. You guys really need to support your local hardcore bands. And let me tell you, there was a time 30 years ago, no club would book us. So we started doing it DIY style. We would book every VFW hall, church hall, every place that let us play. club went nuts and ruined it. Then we had to go find another place. So this goes out to anybody that books shows. Goes out to my friend Chade from Flat Spot. This one is called Nothing! Take 1 second to introduce this lovely bunch of musicians. On bass, give it up for my man Aaron, the Madman Markman. Hell, the fuck yes. Back here beating up the drums like they owe him money. Give it up for Matt Maven! Iron Maven. Don't forget fucking shit up on guitar with the Green Machine. Give it up for Mike Harris. My name is Ralph Macchio. You should wax off before you wax off. This is called Heavy. Hell yes. And props to Pitbull singing along. You guys want to hear a few more or what? Yeah? Yo, up next, Kings of Beatdown Bulldoze. Hell yes. Last time they played here was Fall Brawl, maybe 2009? When is it? 2009. Danny Sherman booked that shit. Give it up for Danny Sherman. You don't even know why you're giving up for him. You don't know him. He could be an asshole. That's right. The first time Bulldoze came to Baltimore was with Next Step Up in 1994. So we're happy again to keep this spirit alive. And it's so exciting to see how much love for hardcore there is in Baltimore. Yo, our brothers in God Instinct lit the torch. We picked it up and carried it. Bands like Stout, Ended, Trapped Under Ice, Turnstile, keep it going. This one, fuck disturbing the things. to your knees. Just turn in the pit. Baltimore hardcore that is serving with me. As you know, Black Spot has a whole festival booked around that song and that band Gun Instinct, who are the founders of Baltimore hardcore. And we all owe deep respect too. But yo, how many people is your first time seeing Next Step Up? Alright, all 5 of you, this one goes out to y'all. Thank you so much for checking around and checking us out. We've got 2 more songs left. And then the almighty bulldoze, followed by All Out War. Oh shit! This is called Fall for Grace. What's up, Baltimore? Assholes and elbows! Here we go! Yo, it's a pleasure to get up here and perform with you guys. our next step up from Baltimore, fucking Maryland. Yo, we got one more song left. But as I look out into this crowd and I see so many different faces, old and young, it reminds me, the hardcore scene is a scene you have to participate. Find something you can do. Come to shows. Do a zine. Do a video fanzine. Book a band. This is your scene. You gotta nurture it. Support local hardcore bands. And punch Nazis! Hell the fuck yes! This one goes out to anybody that takes a first step against racism. I used to ask this question about the hardcore scene, but now I know the answer. Morrissey, what is it? Where has it gone?